Welcome back to the Boondocks Homestead. We're glad you're back, and if this is your first time to our channel, we're sure glad you're here. So today, I'm going to make something for you. I've been going to make this for the last couple of nights, and I haven't gotten around to it. But I'm going to tell you a little story before we make it. We're going to make Salisbury steaks. These will be homemade Salisbury steaks, okay? So the story goes like this. When Tim and I got married, he went into the military, and I think our income at first was like $700 a month. I'd have to ask him again, but I'm pretty sure it was around that. So we lived on next to nothing to eat. We had our oldest son. Of course, he was still on a bottle, and so he wasn't really eating yet, but it was rough for us. And we ate on a lot of stuff that it was just cheap stuff that we could get cheap, at the store. Well, at that point in time, and this was like probably in the 80s, we would buy Salisbury steak in a box. I think it was Banquet at that time, and I think you could get it for like $1 something or $2 and something, and it fed him and I. And then we'd get some bread, loaf of bread, and then we lived on a lot of chili beans, because chili beans was, I dropped some egg on here and I got it on my elbow. I felt it. Chili beans was really cheap too back then. So anything we could find that was really cheap, whether it went together or not, because you have to remember, we were kids, raising kids, and I didn't know how to cook. I did not know how to cook when we got married at all. So, it got better over the years, but it just was, we couldn't afford a whole lot. Okay. So, anywho, I can't eat Salisbury steak to this day. That's just the way it is. I can't do it. Not from the store, not that processed stuff. I can't do it. So I thought, he still likes it occasionally. It's not something that we eat a lot of, but every once in a while, probably once a year, I'll try to make some, just because it's something different, for us through the year. But so I just bought. Now you guys use what you have, right? I just got. We buy this from a local meat market, butcher shop. It's not ground chuck, it's ground beef. So it will drop a little bit, but not bad. So that looks a lot different from the store, does it not? Yeah. So I got my recipe card here because, like I said, I don't make this a lot. So I haven't made it in a while. It's been a long while since I've made it. But the other day I was like, well, we have some hamburger in there. We haven't had anything with hamburger. And maybe I'll make some Salisbury steak. Haven't made them in a long time. And it's just a little step up from a hamburger or meatloaf or something like that. You know what I mean? So we're going to start out with it. My recipe calls for 1.5 pounds of meat. I have 1 pound. That's going to be fine because Tim and I he'll eat 2, I'll eat 1. So I can make 3 burgers out of this, or 3 Salisbury steak out of this. All right. So we're going to go with 1 egg. I'm going to go ahead and use everything else that it says to use, okay, because it's not going to hurt anything. So an egg, and we're going to do half a thing of breadcrumbs, half a cup. I save my breadcrumbs. Let's go over this for a minute. A lot of you probably buy your bread. Some of you have started making it. Some of you have always made it. So what do you do with your bread when it gets old and stale? Not when it's molded, but when it starts getting, it's like, oh, we're going on the 3rd day or the 4th day. Well, if you got plenty in the freezer because you haven't froze it, then you need to start breaking it up and putting it on a big tray and setting it, somewhere where nothing can get in it, and let it dry out for, I think it takes about a week. And then you're going to have breadcrumbs. I don't buy breadcrumbs anymore. I don't buy them, haven't for a long time. So that's what you do with your bread. All right? Don't be throwing that away. I don't care if it's boughten. You might as well make breadcrumbs out of it, right? That's my theory anyway. All right, so let's get 3 tablespoons of ketchup. I'm just going to kind of one. I should have had this, you know, already measured out, but I didn't. So there's 3. Let me get you down here where you can see this. So we had 3 tablespoons of ketchup. So we had an egg, pound and a half of meat. Of course, I have a pound. An egg and half a cup of breadcrumbs and 3 tablespoons of ketchup so far. And then we got 1 tablespoon of, what do y'all call it? Worcestershire? I don't know. Anyway, that's what you need. 1 tablespoon. Okay. And some salt and pepper. Let's see. Mine says a 4th teaspoon of pepper and a half. It doesn't say how much salt. We're just going to put about that much because you got salt in this other stuff we're putting in. And then we're going to do a half teaspoon of garlic powder. Let me get a different. That one's got stuff all over it. Half teaspoon of garlic powder and a teaspoon of dried parsley. See, I would never remember all this if I had to. I have it wrote down. That's probably how much is in there. No, probably. We're just going to put it all in there and I throw that little thing away. Okay. Now, you're going to take your clean hands and you're just going to, just like you would a meatloaf or anything else, you know, that you have to use your hands for. I use my hands for a lot of stuff, y'all. I always tell you, it's what God gave them to us for, to use. If you want to wear a glove, wear a glove. I don't normally wear gloves. When I worked in the kitchen at the school, I did, but that's just because I was serving a lot of people. But we still used our hands some too, you know, when we were doing stuff. But it's just him and I. And my hands are clean. I just don't see no need for any gloves. Okay. So I think that's pretty good right there. All right. So we're going to make 3 patties. Let me just get this out here so we can kind of guesstimate what we're doing here. I know it don't have to be perfect, y'all. It does not. Okay. And now, see, I don't have ground chuck. Mine's ground beef, so it may draw up a little, I'm sure. There's some fat in it. Be a little greasier. Then, we're going to put these over here in this pan. Okay? I'll put you over here in just a minute. I'm going to have to wash my hands. All right. Now we're going to turn this on medium heat and we're going to cook it just to get, let me catch it down too far, I think. Just to get it kind of crispy on both sides. You don't have to cook it till it's all the way done, all the way through, okay? Because it's going to sit in this gravy for about 40 minutes. So it's going to cook, okay? So we'll go ahead and cook them and we'll fast forward it and we'll go to the next step. All right, we're going to turn these and I'm going to show you. You want them about like that. They look kind of grilled. Okay. They smell grilled. And we'll do the same thing on this side. Then we're going to take them off the burner. Okay. But you need that crunchy, that crispy, crunchy on there. Okay. And we'll do that side and then we'll take them off. I'll bring you back and show you the next step. All right. Now we're going to add our onions. And that was like a half of a small onion and a teaspoon of garlic. And our mushrooms. I'm not going to put them in yet, guys, because I don't have like the fresh mushrooms. I have them out of a can. which is just as fine. You know, it's fine. That's all you need. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put these. You just don't want to cook those a long time. You know, you don't want, they're still going to be in there cooking with the hamburgers and stuff, so it's not a big deal. Okay, now we're going to add 3 tablespoons of butter. Okay, we're going to let it melt. This takes a tablespoon of the Worcestershire sauce as well. That in there. Okay, this is kind of like a roux gravy. And then 3 tablespoons, but you just go by however much you need, okay? And you're going to cook this till it gets kind of thick. Probably use just a little bit more. Okay. I didn't measure that out, but it probably is around 3 tablespoons. Cook this for about 1 minute, like this, okay? And then I'll tell you what I did with my, it calls for beef broth. I didn't have any more deer broth, so I couldn't use that. So I had turkey and chicken broth. Yes, you all, turkey, chicken broth. I used a cup of one and 2 cups of the other to make 3 cups. And then I put a beef base in it. It's going to work wonderful. That's right. That's what you do. You use what you got. That's what I always tell y'all. Okay, this is probably ready. Now we're going to pour this in, little at a time, till it thickens up some. Look at that. It smells amazing too. All right. That's it. Now, we're going to put our burgers back in there, our Salisbury steaks, whatever you want to call them. And we're going to set them just like that. Don't put nothing over. We're going to flip them halfway through, okay? Now I'm going to turn this down a little. You just want it to kind of simmer. Down some. And we're going to cover this. This is off my canner, you guys. This is the only lid I got big enough for this pan. You just want to partially cover it like that. And we're going to cook for 40 to 45 minutes. I'm going to put it on 40. And we're going to let it go. I'll bring you guys back when I get ready to flip them in about 20 minutes. All right, we're going to take the lid off this. It's been 20 minutes. And we're going to flip these over. Okay, 20 more minutes, y'all. 20 more minutes and they'll be done. All right, y'all, I'm all done. I'm ready to go to the house, eat. I'm going to clean up the rest of these dishes, and then I'm laying down. I've been going nonstop, it seems like, for a long time. I just need to, I think that's part of my problem, why I don't feel so well. I just keep going, keep going. I'm going to cut up some of this bread. This is some of my bread I had left, and we're going to eat that on this bread, like an open face sandwich, you know, like you eat open face beef or something. So we're just going to put it on some of this soft bread, and that's what we're going to have. Let me get you over here. I'll show you what I got done. All right, so here is the finished product. That's your homemade Salisbury steak, and it is good. It's really good. And then the green beans out of the garden, and then I had some real mashed potatoes I made, and that's what we're going to have. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you try it. I think you're going to really, really like it. If you like, there's probably not a whole lot of people that ate as much as that. Well, maybe, as we did. I just feel like we overdid it on that Salisbury steak out of a box when we were kids, and because it was cheap. It was cheap, and we did what we had to do. And that's what you always got to do when you go through this life, right? I mean, as far as stuff like that, you do what you can do. And that's all you do, right? So I'm going to clean up the rest of this mess. And like I said, we're going to take all this over there. Tim's been burning big brush piles today. My windows are fogged up. I don't know where he's at. So he'll be ready to come in for a good hot meal because it's cold outside. Oh, I don't have a thing in here. I've got one in the house that tells me how cold it is out. But it is cold. So, all right, y'all. Have a blessed day. And Lord willing, I will see y'all on the next video. Tim's been busy. He's about got them 2 piles done. I got several more to do.